Hello everyone and welcome to this week's video. This week I thought it'd be fun to show you what I've been working on lately, and currently I've been working on the Plumpkin comic series which is launching in time for MCM London. I'm going to be at MCM London at the end of this month and I really wanted to work on a Halloweeny themed comic and thought Plumpkin would be perfect for this. This is going to be in the style of the Prickles comics as I have done previously, and you can see that I've made lots of notes, done lots of thumbnails, and most of the process when it comes to making these 4-coma style comics basically is thumbnailing and writing notes and making sure that I know where everything goes. So pretty much 90% of the process is working out what the final pages are going to look like. So this is a sneak peek of some of the pages that I've currently worked on, and as you can see they are grayscale. Now I really like working in grayscale when it comes to these type of comics, simply because normally in these sort of style comics they tend to be in screen tone or full colour, and I think grayscale is just like the perfect happy medium. Plus I really love working in grayscale. I think it's a really good way of showing tonal value without having to use a massive amount of colours. So the first thing I'm going to do is get the framing down. Now the difference between standard comics and these 4-coma style comic pages is that you, instead of having loads of different styles of panels where a character will break out, this is essentially 4 square panels. So what I'm doing here is I'm just measuring out what my size of my comic panels are, and these are 6 centimeters by 6 centimeters. The hardest thing for me is making sure that all the lines are right. So after I've penciled them out, I'll line them, and then I'll quickly draw in my thumbnail sketches that I've already done. Now the good thing is because I've already pre-planned what these thumbnails are going to be, it means that I'm not having to go through and replan these panels again and again. This is the best way of working out how to do your comic pages, simply because it's the same when I've done a previous video where I'm saying how thumbnails can really help your work. This is really good as well because you get to understand how the comic flows, how it reads, and you also get a better understanding of how the layout is going to happen. You want comic pages to translate, and what I mean by this is you want the reader's eye to follow a certain pattern. With a 4-coma style it tends to be you're reading left to right, you read left panel, left top right, right top panel, and then you are reading bottom left to bottom right. So you're essentially following a Z pattern. So you want your panels to flow in that sort of way, and the easiest way to do that is to have characters in certain places, or if you're having a character walk, have them walk in a certain way, and it helps the panels to read. These are basically, with these comics I make them wordless, and the reason why I do this is because this comic is suitable for all ages. I want anyone of any age, of any reading ability, to be able to understand this comic without having to actually understand the words. So you're putting a lot of emotions in the faces, lots of bold colours, lots of easy to understand emotions. So with this particular comic panels that I'm doing here, you'll notice I'm not doing a lot of background. There's quite a few reasonings for this. One, because it's a simpler style comic, I want the characters to stand out some more, but so these panels in particular, they don't need a background to bring forth the illustration towards the front. And essentially this comic page is called Faces, and it's just Plumpkin imitating carved pumpkins, doing silly faces with them. I just thought it was really cute, really funny. It makes me smile when I see it. In particular, I really love the face in the bottom left panel. It makes me smile so much when I see it. But when I think of these short stories, I essentially want a very quick beginning to a very quick end. So the best way to build this up is to understand how you begin in the comic and understand how you end the comic. Because you're only working with 4 panels, you are restricted in that area. You essentially want to be able to tell a story and bring something across without having to use a lot of space, and that can be very difficult. I have talked about 4-coma style comics before, and since I am in the lead up to Comic-Con, I know know this is kind of a repeat video for a lot of people, but I think it's really important to talk about comics and to talk about almost like refreshing yourself in certain aspects. There's a lot I've learned since starting doing these full style comic panels. Especially with the grayscale, you don't want to work too dark. You want to work from very light to very dark, and if you make your backgrounds darker than your foreground, just so that the characters really stand out. You don't really want to overwork some of the panels, because if you overwork it, it tends to get lost in a lot of the detail. Now, the pages that I've worked here are pretty much the same size as what the finalized comic is going to be. I do tend to try and work a little bit bigger than this, but with this one, in the interest of not using a massive amount of paper, as you'll notice, I've been trying to make sure that when I am doing the comics that I'm using the right amount of paper, that I'm not working too big. If I wanted a lot of detail in the panels, I'd work bigger so that when it scaled down smaller, I wasn't sacrificing anything with my pens. So the materials I'm using here is the Canson mixed media paper. This is one of my favourite mixed media papers to use. I really like how it reacts with markers. You may notice that I'm using some new markers, and these are markers that I will be doing a review on at a later date. These are the Touch New markers. I only got the grayscale pack, but I will be doing a review at a later date, so let me know if you are interested. Also using my Uni Ball Signo white gel pen, as well as my Uni Pin fine liners. I'm also using, later on you'll notice, I'll use some Daler Rowney acrylic ink, as well as some Core Noir black ink. I'll leave links to all those pieces of equipment that I mentioned down below. And essentially what I like to do is I like to try and build up texture with these. So one thing I dislike about markers is I hate how flat they can be. They look quite graphical, and that's not the look that I go for. I like a piece to have lots of texture. So that's why I I put my flat marker down first, and then I build up different textures using different mediums. I think it just makes a piece look a little bit more 3D, adds a little bit more texture, makes it look a little bit more fun, and it really does bring out a quality that I'm particularly happy with. And I'm really do love doing these style comics, and if anyone is interested in hearing more about comics, let me know in the comment section down below. I haven't just done this style of comics in the past. As I said, I am working on the Plant Witch comic, and it's a very different style yet again, where I'm working on proper comics. So if you are interested in that, please let me know in the comment section down below. Comics is such a huge passion of mine. Storytelling is such a huge passion of mine, because I think that through pictures we can tell so much without needing words, and sometimes words and work well with the pictures, and they help tell beautiful stories. I absolutely love reading comics. It is possibly one of my all-time favorite things to do. I know I have a lot of favorite things to do. I like visual storytelling. I think it is interesting and intriguing how different techniques and different things can be used to tell a story. I'm obsessed at the moment with some webtoon series. I love Lore Olympus. I love the color palettes in that. I'm reading, I'm reading Hooky. Hooky's amazing. I absolutely love Sister Claire. I really enjoy lots of different series, because I think it's so important for stories to be visually told, and it's one of the reasons why I love collecting books, and it's always been a huge passion of mine. Storytelling can be so amazing. It can transform someone to a different world, and comics is just another form of storytelling, and I think it's exciting to see how comics change and what comics can do. I have a lot of my favourite comics. I've talked about them in many videos, but if you are interested in seeing what my top few comics are, let me know in the comment section down below, and I'll totally do a video on it and share some of my top comics at the moment. So we're just putting some finalised touches by using some W.H. Smith pencils to lighten up certain areas. I made some parts a little bit too dark, so I was just trying to lift them up a little bit, but I really enjoy making these. They're a lot of fun. It's a really fun way of making comics, and I can highly recommend it to anyone. In fact, if anyone does the 4-coma comic style, and if you're interested in it, like, you know, message me, let me know. We have a Discord group where we regularly share art up in there. Everyone's taking part in the monthly challenge this month of Inktober, and everyone's doing so amazingly so far. I'm very excited to have this comic all finished in time for London. It's going to be exciting. Lots and lots and lots of things happening. But yes, here is the final look at the comic page, as well as the other comic page that I've done as well. But I will not be sharing any more of these comic pages, since I want the rest of them to be a surprise for the actual book. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. I know it's nothing massively special for this week, since I'm a little bit busy with Comic-Con prep, but I hope you guys have enjoyed it. Have a wonderful day, and as always folks, stay creative.